everybody. This is Suzaman from Suzaman Entertainment, your one stop for all things entertainment. And today we have a new one. This is Elemental, Pixar's new movie. Well, let's dive right in. So I will say right off the bat, this is not their best movie. I'm sorry to say that, but Pixar has just continued to raise the bar. And I don't even know if this movie would crack like the top 15. They've just kept setting the bar higher and higher. But there's other reasons as well. We'll get into it. So Elemental basically starts with fire people. This is essentially an immigration story, a little bit like American Tale, you know. These fire immigrants from Fireland move to Elemental City, where all the elements live together. Except there's some prejudice and bias that are kind of there subtly on the surface. And essentially the fire girl Ember grows up and her father's like, you're going to take over our shop for us when I get old. And maybe she wants to do other things. And that's kind of, there. And then it's essentially Romeo and Juliet, this water guy comes in. Water, as it literally say water guy, Wade Ripple. And they come in and, water and fire don't mix. So, essentially the story is very simple. So where does it different? What makes this different than the 1,000 times the story's been told? Well, I would say the setting, Elemental Town's pretty neat looking. There's some nice visual flair to it. Nothing amazing, but pretty neat, here and there. And the movie, for me, it just didn't, and never fully took off. It was like, it was on the launch pad, and it just, I was waiting for it to take off. And that's the thing. The movie's not, I would call a comedy. There were some funny parts, but there was nothing that was like a rib tickler or a knee slapper or anything like that. It was like, that's kind of cute. That's about the movie. It's kind of cute. There's some nice, the ending definitely has some emotional pull that it wants to hit. It tries to land that mark. Like, hey, if we're not funny, let's at least make this drama, make you feel something. And the character are okay, but they're not amazing. That's the thing, is like the characters are just kind of two-dimensional, a lot of them. I would say the father figure, the father character, the fire father character, he's the most three-dimensional character. He would probably be the most interesting. Now, Ember and Wade, they can't be together, and they're kind of two-dimensional. She wants to do something more, but she's held back by, what's going on with her father in the shop. The mom character gets a little bit of they try to give her a little bit, but she's just kind of background fodder. And that's the thing, there's not enough good like side characters to really play off of the main characters, and the main characters aren't super interesting either. Wade, I'd say he's probably at least to me, the weakest character. Because he's sensitive, and he's kind of he feels a little contrived, like they're just pushing him on you way too hard, and like to be likable, and it just kind of like, okay, I get it. At least that's how I felt. The movie's not a disaster. Obviously, the animation looks fantastic, but and there's some fun parts, and there's some good visual stuff. But I would say wait till it comes out on Disney Plus or something. I think it's all right. I didn't hate it, but I think it's like kind of on the low end of all right, because it kind of got boring. It was kind of meandering, and the softer, the quieter moments that do work in some movies didn't work here, because we don't care about the characters as much as they wish that we did, or at least I did. And there was not enough like good side characters to kind of play off of anything, and the story is kind of super basic. They basically have to save her father's shop from being flooded by this mystery flood, and I didn't care about that whatsoever. And they kind of go at it a couple of times when it could have been just fixed like that if like the proper people were communicated with. And then it just kind of lost me as far as like the ending was like okay, but it could have been told. This story could have been told way better with the other elements. I wish we had like a really, different. They tried to give one kind of character each element like to be a character that we care about, or some sort of side character, but it just didn't. There were some interesting things, but I think they did interesting things just to try to keep kids. If this was like better written, I think it'd be something we remember. I asked my kids, like, how was it? And they're like, oh, it was so great. I loved it. I was like, hey, what was your favorite line? And they're like, yeah, and exactly, because I couldn't remember like a real catchy line or something memorable or funny or anything dramatic. I bet if I really hunkered down and thought, no, I don't want to crap all over the movie. I mean, it doesn't compare to anywhere near the top of the other way, way better Pixar movies. That's a shame because I thought this one was going to be pretty good, but it just came to be it was all right. And I didn't hate it, but But sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to have to relay that on you. Some people may love it. I mean, my kids loved it, but when you really start looking at it a little deeper, it's like not as great as some of the better ones. But overall, I'd wait for it to come out on Disney Plus. If you enjoyed this review, hey, did you enjoy the movie? Did you hate the movie? Did you just think it was like, I don't know. Stick around for more Susan Man Entertainment.